You're listening to Blueprint and Soul, a podcast about building from the inside out. I'm your host, Sal Carter. This episode is called What You're Allowed to Release. In the last episode, we talked about inventory, about noticing what you're still carrying, about naming the habits, the armor, the reflexes survival left behind. Today is different. Today isn't about what you're carrying. It's about what you're allowed to put down. Because inventory shows you what's there. Permission decides what stays. And for a lot of us, permission is the hardest part. There are things we hold on to because they once worked. Ways of being that helped us survive. Ways of showing up that kept us safe, needed, or relevant. And at first, those behaviors feel like strength. But over time, what once protected you can quietly begin to drain you. Here's the thing survival doesn't tell you. Just because something helped you then doesn't mean it deserves to follow you forever. There was a season in my life where being consistently available made sense. I was a person who always answered. If someone called, I picked up. If a message came in, I responded, even if I was tired. At the time, I told myself I was just being dependable. Being reliable felt like strength. But I remember noticing something subtle. I wasn't responding because I wanted to. I was responding because not responding made me uneasy. I'd feel tension if I let a message sit. Like I was doing something wrong by choosing myself. That's when I realized the habit has changed. It wasn't generosity anymore. It was reflex. And that reflex was costing me rest. It was costing me clarity. It was quietly shrinking my capacity. That's how you know something is ready to be released. Not because it's wrong, but because it no longer protects you the way it once did. Most of us don't struggle with awareness. We struggle with permission. We know we're tired. We know something feels off. We know we're carrying too much. But letting go, that feels irresponsible. Somewhere along the way, we learned that holding everything together was the price of being respected. So release starts to feel like failure. But here's the truth. Permission doesn't require explanation. You don't have to justify your capacity. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to prove you're still valuable if you slow down. Letting go of constant availability didn't happen all at once for me. It wasn't some big announcement. It was quiet. I started letting messages sit. Not forever. Just long enough to check in with myself first. And I noticed how uncomfortable that was. My mind would start offering explanations before anyone asked. I'd feel the urge to justify why I wasn't responding immediately. But when I didn't rush to explain, something surprising happened. Nothing fell apart. People adjusted. Conversations continued. And I felt lighter. That's when it clicked for me. I wasn't abandoning anyone. I was reclaiming capacity. And with that space, I started showing up more intentionally, not more frequently. That's the difference. Release isn't about subtraction. It's about making room. When you stop carrying what no longer serves you, you create space. Space for choice. Choice in how you respond. Choice in where you invest energy. Choice in what you build next. You don't need to drop everything. You just need to notice what feels heavy when it no longer needs to. This is the part of the show we call From the Community. A space for real questions and honest reflection. One question that came up was, how do I know when something I'm holding on to is still helping me, or when it's quietly costing me more than I realize? Here's a simple distinction. If it still helps you recover, connect, or move forward, it's serving you. If it keeps you tense, rushed, or afraid to pause, it's quietly costing you. Sometimes the clearest signal isn't what you're doing. It's how it feels. If holding on creates constant tension or makes rest feel unsafe, that's information. It may not be helping anymore. It may just be familiar. Another listener asks, what if I'm afraid of who I'll be without these habits? That's a great question. And that fear is normal. Release doesn't erase who you've been. It honors what those habits once did without letting them decide your future. Thank you for trusting this space with your questions. This is the part of the show where we slow the conversation down and make it practical. These aren't rules. They're reflections. Here are today's Blueprint Tips. Blueprint tip number 1. Permission doesn't require explanation. If something costs you more than it gives, you're allowed to reconsider it. Blueprint tip number 2. Release can be partial. You don't have to let go forever. You just have to stop gripping so tightly. Blueprint tip number 3. What you release makes room for what matters. Capacity isn't created by doing more. It's created by carrying less. Before we close, I want to slow us down. Everything we talked about today lives in the mind, but lands in the body. Let's move into today's soul segment. Release doesn't always arrive as a dramatic decision. Sometimes it shows up as a quiet realization that you don't need to respond the way you used to. Notice what your body does when you imagine not carrying it anymore. Is there space in your chest? Is there relief in your voice? Permission doesn't mean you were wrong before. It means you're listening now. Let yourself rest in that listening. You don't have to rush what comes next. Before you move on with your week, take this question with you. What am I still holding on to out of habit, not intention? This episode isn't a command. It's permission. As you move forward, remember, you don't have to keep carrying what once helped you survive. You don't have to prove your worth by holding everything together. You're allowed to choose what stays and what you release with intention. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need that permission as well. Follow us on Instagram at Blueprint and Soul. And if you have a question you'd like us to explore, email us at blueprintandsoulpod@gmail.com. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this work. Until next time, build with intention and lead with soul.